Hello, in this video I'll be covering my games in the... Jesus, I wonder if they use enough words there. In this tournament, all games were played in the Nintendo Cup 97 format and Pokemon Showdown. If you didn't already know, back in 1997, Nintendo held a Pokemon tournament called Nintendo Cup, and that is the format for this tournament. Things were a lot different back then with what was allowed, and things that are banned today, dig and fly, evasion moves, and even one-hit KO moves are allowed. There is a sleep clause, however there isn't a freeze clause, so things can get out of control fast. Especially when you consider the fact that this tournament was played on the Japanese version, so Blizzard had a 30% chance to freeze. Yes, you heard that right, 30% chance to freeze, in a game without freeze clause and no way of thawing out naturally. And this tournament is a bring 6, pick 3, so often Blizzard freeze can decide a game. Pokemon must be between levels 50 and 55, with the total levels of the 3 you pick must equal 155 or less. Most people bring 4 level 50s and 2 level 55s. However, some people like to use Pokemon with more spread out levels, especially with Pokemon like Alexand, which needs to be level 52 to outspeed level 55 Tauros. But for the most part, it's better to have 2 level 55s because the difference in power and speed is quite large, and by using a balanced team, you pass up on that. The most common level 55 is Tauros for his high attack, perfect coverage, and insane speed. Tauros has the ability to win against nearly any Pokemon with a bit of luck, and the extra stats turns it into the scariest Pokemon in the game. The other somewhat common level 55s are Articuno and Starmie. Both excel at stalling with evasion, and the extra bulk and speed can help their setup. Also, sometimes people will use 2 level 54s and a level 51 Jinx to outspeed and get to sleep. Speaking of Jinx, it's arguably the best mod in the format, although I personally think Tauros is better. Jinx can get a sleep off, then try for freeze, sometimes starting the game off 3-1, which is just brutal when it happens. One last thing before I get into it, Swift just doesn't work. It's just a piece of shit. I mean, it can still miss. In my first game, I used a team with level 55 Tentacruel and Lapras, and level 50 Jolteon, Jinx, Exeggutor, and Tauros. Tentacruel's niche is kinda complex, but the short version of it is that when it's level 55, it's really fast and has Wrap. The only Pokemon in his team that could outspeed it is Jolteon, which is walled by Exeggutor. My lead was Tentacruel, and his was Dodrio. He immediately switched Jinx in, and I wrapped it. He was hoping for a miss, but Tenna would never let me down, and after Jinx got to about half, he sent Dodrio back in. After just a bit more chip damage, I KO'd Dodrio with Blizzard. He sent out Jolteon, so I switched to Exeggutor. Over the next few turns, I would only hit with Psychic once, and after Exeggutor was low, I used Rest. Jinx switched in, so I brought out Token as it used Double Team. Then I missed a Thunder Wave as Blizzard froze me. I sent Tentacruel back out to try and wrap, but my move missed and Jinx KO'd Tenna. After that, Jinx KO'd my 2 other Pokemon, and I lost my first game. After just one game, you can see how much freeze and evasion can swing a match if given the chance. However, all hope was not lost, as these sets were best of 3, and as long as I have my Mudkip by my side, I cannot lose. We both used our same teams, and this time I led Token versus his Jinx. I paralyzed it, but it landed a Lovely Kiss and set up a double team. I knew I couldn't allow it to set up anymore, so I sent out Tauros, but only managed to land a single Body Slam before fainting. Tentacruel was my last hope, and I hit it with Surf, but it didn't KO, and Psychic got the special drop. My best chance was to attack again, and after a terrifying miss, I got the KO. Tauros tried a revenge kill, but it was slower, and Tentacruel never missed a single wrap. After I had it at half health, I sent Token in as a sacrifice to reset the drop. He sent Exeggutor in, but I crit it on the switch, wrapped it, then KO'd it with Blizzard. Tauros was then KO'd by Surf, meaning it's time for our Game 3. We both brought the same teams again, and my Tauros was facing down his Dodrio. For some reason, his Dodrio was only level 53, so it was slower and got KO'd by a crit Blizzard. Lapras tried to set up Double Team, however, it only got 1 before it was forced to rest. I switched Token in and landed 2 Thunderbolts for the knockout. His last hope was Tauros, but Token is an absolute champ, so it didn't stand a chance, and I got the win. My next opponent was using the Nintendo Cup 1997 champ, Toru Miyazawa's team. The most notable thing about this team, other than the history, is that level 55 Kangaskhan. It's meant to outspeed and crush Articuno with Rock Slide, although it doesn't quite KO. I'm still using a Tentacruel team, but this one's just a bit different, having a level 55 Jolteon instead of Lapras and switching the Jinx for a Sand Slash. With half of his team being faster than Tentacruel and Token beating 5 out of his 6, my choice was obvious. I decided to leave Tauros, and facing me down was a Jinx. My Body Slam paralyzed, but it hit me right back with a Lovely Kiss. I tried to stay in and wake up, but he sent out his own Tauros and KO'd mine. Since his Tauros was at full, I didn't want to send out Token quite yet, so I sent Lapras in. He opted to sacrifice Jinx so Articuno could get free setup, a very smart move. Articuno set up 2 double teams and dodged a bunch of Thunderbolts. I was able to get Articuno low, however my Lapras lacked rest, so it was unable to heal. When Articuno used Fly, I sent Token in, but I missed 2 Thunderbolts and lost the match. But you already know I'm all for a comeback in Game 2. We both switched teams for Game 2, and I chose my Tentacruel Lapras team, as he used a team with level 55 Tauros and Starmie, with the rest being Electrode, Jinx, Lapras, and Rhydon. Despite how good Tentacruel is sometimes, he didn't get to battle too much as there are a lot of faster Pokemon. This was another one where Tentacruel had to sit on the sidelines. We both led Jinx, and my lovely kiss missed, as his did not. I brought in Lapras as he switched to Tauros, then I double teamed as his Body Slam crit. This Lapras did no rest though, so I was able to heal up and wait for a miss. I chose not to double team up and KO'd it as it missed a Hyper Beam. With the power of hindsight, I can say that this was a dumb move and I should have used max double teams first. The Tauros would have needed to get really lucky to KO me if I had spammed double team, and I was really lucky to dodge that Hyper Beam. After Tauros went down, he sent out Jinx and we both started to double team. Most of his Psychics missed and none of them special dropped. Then for some unfathomable reason, he sent out Rhydon and I one-shot it with Blizzards. What did you think was gonna happen? Anyways, eventually I won. For game 3, I brought the same team and he brought me a Sawa's team again. We both led Jinx, but this time I got the sleep. He switched Articuno in, but my Psychic got the special drop. He tried to reset it by going to Tauros, however I used Blizzard and got the freeze. Articuno switched in again, took another special drop, then I hit it twice more and KO'd it. This is exactly why Jinx is so scary, because sometimes it's just ridiculous. I mean, seriously, he barely even got to play. But I gotta say, it felt pretty good to move to 2-0, but my next opponent was pretty scary. His name was Blue Cloyster, and he came out of nowhere to place incredibly high in a few Gen 1 tournaments. And seeing that he was also 2-0, I knew I had to be cautious. Just kidding, I brought a meme team based entirely around evasion. My lead was Electrode, and he chose Tauros. He switched Dugtrio in immediately and absorbed a Thunder Wave. Then he made a really good play that a lot of players might see as dumb. He used Fissure, a move that cannot hit my Electrode since it's faster than his Dugtrio, a mechanic exclusive to Gen 1. However, the reason this is such a good move is because Electrode cannot hurt Dugtrio, so if I stay in, no harm, no foul. But if I switch, then he could get a KO right on the spot. That being said, my Exeggutor dodged the move because of course, I mean, come on, did you actually think a one-hit KO move would land? Okay, maybe I spoke too soon. After Exeggutor fainted, I sent in Starmie and used Minimize as he sent out Tauros. With a bit of cheese, payback for him hitting that Fissure, his Tauros went down. Once his Tauros fainted, he sent out Jolteon, and I don't understand why he didn't immediately bring Jolteon in. Anyways, I switched Electrode in and took a critical hit Thunderbolt. I Thunder Wave as Dugtrio came in again, and then it Sand attacked my Starmie on the switch. Jolteon switched back in and took a Surf, almost being in KO range. I brought Electrode back in and then double switched to Starmie as he brought in Dugtrio. Then he made a pretty big mistake and switched Jolteon directly back in. Just one more Surf and the battle was over. For game 2, I brought the Tentacruel Lapras team. I led Tauros into his Exeggutor, then my Blizzard froze it turn 1. He let me KO his Exeggutor so Persian could get a free switch. It started to double team, but I didn't forget to install Aimbot that morning, so Tauros was able to land 2 critical hit body slams in a row, taking it out. Jinx was his last hope, and I decided to Hyper Beam it since I knew it was going to sleep Tauros. It double teamed as I switched Token in, but then Thunderbolt missed as it froze Token. I sent Lapras out, missed a Thunderbolt, then won the game. I'm telling you, Mudkip is just too powerful. Now on to the final round. If I win this, I win the whole tournament. For this game, I brought my Tenta Lapras team as usual, and I was facing a very peculiar team. He had level 55 Tauros, but level 54 Starmie and 51 Jinx. This means he cannot bring Tauros alongside either Starmie or Jinx, which makes it much easier to pick my own Pokemon as well as knowing his own. His Tauros was meant to be level 54, but he either misclicked or forgot to change Tauros' level. Either way, it gave me quite the upper hand in this battle. Both our leads were Tauros, which made guessing his other Pokemon an easy task. My Lapras took a Body Slam as I sent it in, then he brought out his own Lapras. I could narrate the next 30 turns, but I think most of you would rather watch paint dry because it was just a mess of evasion. The mirror match was completely in my favor though, as my Lapras was 5 levels higher. But that didn't stop it from being close, and I only had 1 Thunderbolt left when I KO'd it. Exeggutor came out and took a big hit from Blizzard as it landed a Sleep Powder. My Lapras would sleep for 5 turns and be KO'd by Psychic. My best shot of KOing Exeggutor before it could land another Sleep Powder was to send out Token and use Pin Missile. However, Pin Missile only hit twice and Sleep Powder didn't miss. But Token would never let me down as he woke up immediately and finished off the Exeggutor. As a final parting shot, Token was able to paralyze the opponent's Tauros and land a Thunderbolt. It was all up to Tauros, and after we exchanged Body Slams, he went for a Hyper Beam, which barely didn't KO, allowing me to win. Real talk though, Hyper Beam had a 50% chance to KO my Tauros, not factoring accuracy or paralysis. For game 2, I brought the same team, and I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't even close. The game started pretty normally, Token versus his Jinx, and it even managed to KO Token. However, Jinx was paralyzed, and my Lapras was able to outspeed and KO with Thunderbolt. Next up was his own Lapras, and my Thunderbolt paralyzed it as he lost his first turn. I used Thunderbolt again as he double teamed, but evasion would not save him as my third Thunderbolt landed for the KO. His only Pokemon left was Persian, and as a double team, Lapras landed a critical hit Blizzard for the victory. Well, the end was kinda anticlimactic, but I hope you enjoyed. Anyways, Banana Deal out.